Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are about to tackle a super important topic, especially for your exams. Unit 2, Business Environment. We're going to break down the first half of this chapter into clear, easy-to-digest pieces. So you ready? Let's dive right in. So, have you ever wondered about this? Like, why did diesel cars suddenly get banned in Delhi, sending these huge shockwaves through the auto industry? Or, why do some companies seem to just thrive during major economic reforms, while others completely collapse? Well, the answer to all these puzzles lies in one single, powerful concept: the business environment. It's kind of like this invisible force that can make or break a company. Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the basic definition. Then we'll get into the two different types of forces. After that, we'll look at a real-world case study, explore the nature of business itself, break down 5 essential features you have to know, and then we'll wrap it all up with a quick recap. A pretty clear path to mastering this, right? Okay, let's get right to it. What exactly is this business environment we keep talking about? It's time to really define this core concept that explains all those big shifts we see happening out there in the business world. So in simple terms, the business environment is just the sum total of everything. Every single condition, every event, every influence that's around a business and affects how it works. This includes things both inside and, more importantly, outside the company's control. It's the entire ecosystem that a business has to live and breathe in. And if you want a more formal definition, the expert Keith Davis put it perfectly. He called it the aggregate of all conditions, events, and influences that surround and affect a business. Now, that word aggregate is key here. It just means the total sum of everything. That's a great line to have in your back pocket for your exams. Okay, so we know what the business environment is. Now, let's break it down a bit more. There are 2 main categories of forces that you absolutely need to get straight in your head: specific and general. Trust me, this distinction is simple, but it's incredibly powerful for understanding how things work. So here's the crucial difference. It's all about the type of impact. Specific forces, they have a direct, immediate effect on a company's day-to-day work. Think of things the business deals with constantly. But general forces, well, they're broader influences that affect a business, and really all businesses, much more indirectly. Let's make this super concrete, okay? Your specific forces are your customers, your competitors, your suppliers, and your investors. They hit your business directly every single day. Your general forces, on the other hand, are the bigger picture things: social trends, political decisions, legal rules, the state of the economy, and of course, technology. These are the things that shape the entire playing field. Now, theory is one thing, but let's see how this stuff actually plays out in the real world. This case study about the Delhi diesel ban is a perfect example of the business environment causing a massive sudden change. It's a great one to remember for your answers. So, back in 2015, the Supreme Court of India, which is a legal force, right, banned older diesel vehicles in Delhi to fight pollution. The impact, it was immediate. It hammered automobile companies, totally changed what customers were buying, and forced a complete rethink of sales strategies. And this really shows you a key lesson. The environment creates both problems, like the ban, and new opportunities, maybe for electric vehicles, for instance. So how should we really think about the relationship between a business and its environment? Well, people have come up with 3 main ways to look at it. 3 different lenses, you could say, to understand this whole dynamic. The first one is the system approach. This basically sees a business like a machine. It takes in inputs, things like raw materials, money, and workers from its environment. Then it processes them, turning them into goods and services. And finally, it sends those outputs back out into society for all of us to use. It's this continuous cycle of give and take. Next up, the social responsibility approach. This view says that a business isn't just about making money. It's a social creature with duties to a whole bunch of different groups. Think about it. It has a duty to make safe products for its customers, pay fair wages to employees, pay its taxes to the government, and just generally be a good citizen in society. It's a two-way street. And finally, we've got the creative approach. This is a much more proactive way of looking at things. It says businesses aren't just sitting ducks, passively waiting for the environment to change. No way. They are powerful agents of change. They innovate, they create new stuff, they adapt, and they actively turn challenges into brand new opportunities. All right, let's move on to the next critical section for your exams: the key features or characteristics of the business environment. If you can memorize these, you'll have a solid framework for pretty much any question that comes your way. There are 5 of them. 5. Let's just lock that number in your head because we're about to break down every single one, starting right now.
First up, the business environment is aggregative. We kind of touched on this with that Keith Davis quote, right? It just means it's the sum total of all the forces outside the business. You can't just look at one little piece in isolation, you have to consider the whole picture. Second, these forces are all interrelated. What's cool about this is how it shows a chain reaction. For example, people start getting more concerned about clean air. That's a social shift. That puts pressure on the government, which then passes new anti-pollution laws. That's a political and legal change. And what happens next? Businesses have to adapt. It's like a domino effect, one thing knocking over the next. The third feature is relativity. All this means is that the business environment is relative to where you are. It's totally different from country to country, and even from region to region. The social, political, and legal stuff going on in India is wildly different from the USA or Japan, so of course your business strategy has to be different too. Fourth, we've got uncertainty. The business environment is always changing, and a lot of the time, you just can't predict how. A new technology can pop up overnight, or a government can announce a new policy with almost no warning. This makes trying to guess what's coming next a huge challenge for any business. And the fifth and final feature is that it's complex, because all these social, political, and economic factors are interrelated and always changing. It's incredibly hard to really understand the full picture at any one moment. It's like this complex web of forces that managers are constantly trying to navigate. And that brings us to the end of the main stuff for part 1. Wow, we covered a lot of ground. So let's do a quick, super fast recap of the most important points you really need to take away from this. Okay, rapid fire round. Business environment is a sum of all external forces. Specific forces have a direct impact, general forces have an indirect influence. And the 5 key features? Aggregative, interrelated, relativity, uncertainty, and complex. Got it? Perfect. So that's a wrap on part 1. You've now got a really solid foundation in what the business environment is, its nature, and its features. In part 2, we're going to dive even deeper into the specific elements of the business environment. You are not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.